Hey guys, Justin, Wheezy Outdoors Guide Service, operating guide bear hunts in areas 51 and 46 here in Minnesota. We're officially a week in. We have 23 active baits out of 30 so far. We have had some challenges with lots of rain, natural forage in the woods, but things are rolling on and we're expecting some good results in the next few days as it dries up. We have never done any of these videos, and a lot of people have questions about how we go through the process of baiting bear. Hopefully in the next few days we can actually show you some footage on how we go about it, what we actually look for in the woods, because it's not as simple as just throwing a bait out in the woods. Bears don't just come into anything. You got to have the right areas. I mean, you got to have the right cover to make a successful bait site. But yeah, we'll take you through some of that. I'll show you some of the baits we use. We use a lot of Onyx Hunt apps, so we'll show you some of that on there as well. And take you through some wheeler rides, kind of show you a little bit of excitement there. Yeah, stay tuned.
arrived at the first bait this morning. See if it got hit. And since we have a lot of rain, we're actually gonna put down some more scent today. This is just fryer oil mixed with Northwoods Bear Products Gold Rush, which is actually really strong smelling. Smells like butterscotch, smells really good. We use this stuff, we pour it on the logs and then we throw it up into some leaves and trees or whatever, so that way they get it on their feet and drag it through the woods to actually create more scent trails for other bears. But let's go see if this thing got hit. It's been getting hit pretty good, so I always talk or make a little noise walking into bait sites because some of these bears don't go very far, and you know, you don't want to startle them. Oh yeah, it's been hit. Good. Keeps continuing getting hit. Fully cleaned out. Good sign. Let's get her all baited up. So yeah, this is kind of something we got going here. Hopefully you can see it on the camera, but it's just corn, oats, mixed some sunflowers, and I stir it up in a barrel with liquid molasses. I got cookies in there, you know, pretzels, we got licorice, trail mix, and I get a lot of this stuff from down at Wildwood Bear Bait. They'll always hook you up with everything you need pretty much. They got a lot of good selection there, great prices. Yeah, just dump it in a hole like that. Put the logs back over. We use the logs just you know, if the logs are moved like this, it's definitely a bear. There's no doubt that's no coons or anything like that. Timber wolves will get into them once in a while, but they don't move the logs like this. Plus this helps keep out some of the rain and stuff like that also. Then what I do with this fryer oil is simply just splash it on the logs, take the rest, go up a tree like that, and to top it off I use this ain't anise in here, it's actually gold mist, which smells just like the Gold Rush, but every time I come into a bait I just simply take this, spray it on the trees a little. I mean, I probably don't have to do this today because I just sent it up with the fryer oil, but I like to do it just to spray it all over, get the scent going around. Kind of freshen up a bait. On to the next bait. Hey guys, we arrived at our second bait in Area 51 hunt unit. The first one was hit, which it normally always is, but let's see how this one's going. This is one of my favorite baits in here. Steve, if you're watching this is where you took your bear last year. Steve also saw 11 bear off this bait opening day last year, which he harvested one of them. And it's also the same bait my wife harvested a bear last year. And Ben actually had one come up to his ladder stand, put its paws on it off this bait. Yes, it is cleaned up. If you look at that tree has been tore up. And that's actually, you know, this bait's been running a few years now, but it's been really good and lots of activity here. A lot of our baits have a lot of activity, but some of them I just prefer over others. It's kind of cool. Most times you shoot a bear here, either take off running way back in that stuff. It is not fun dragging them out of there. But yeah, I'm gonna get this baited up. Well guys, I've arrived at the 4th bait site this morning. Number 3 was hit. It's just I'm not taking video of every bait. This video would get way too long. But this bait's actually, I don't know, it's interesting. Like 2 years ago, if you follow me on Facebook, I actually had 3 wolves come right up to me at this bait. And I pulled the camera card, and 5 minutes before I came in here, there was actually a whole pack of wolves on this thing. But it's also interesting, I've had bear, you know, I've had to crawl through hands and knees to find bear after people shot them through here, and there's actually a bunch of blowdown in here from a bad windstorm. But yeah, it's like a little creek that runs through here. It's kind of dried right now, which is really surprising, but yep, it's cleaned up. Hopefully no yogi pops out on me here. It's happened before multiple times. Pretty cool encounter, but at the same time makes you pucker up a little bit. See that licorice in there? It's kind of a little bit of caramel corn too. Oh, more pieces. Know your baits are rocking when they're all getting hit. Early in the morning yet, got a lot of baits to run. Good feeling though, hunters are gonna be excited. These logs do get pretty greasy after a few weeks in. What's interesting is you look, this bait I've had a few years now, and you can see how the bear's kind of torn the bark a little bit and clotted up. Pretty good sized bear once in a while. I mean, I've had some 400 pounders on this bait. Little claw marks on that. And stuff like this. What this is from is like springtime boars. To mark their territory, they'll actually rip bark off trees, which is pretty cool. They're just like, you know, like whitetails rub up on trees, you know, mark territories, but big boars do the same thing. They just rip bark off and mark their territory. Another thing is these bait sites, most of these are by beaver ponds. We always try getting around some kind of a water. Beaver ponds are my favorite. Bear just seem to flock to them. I don't know if you want to say flock, but yeah, they're just drawn to beaver ponds. Swamp edges, like this down here, this is kind of a cedar swamp mixed with some, you know, ash. Just nice and thick. They love this stuff. Ron, if you're watching this, this is where you took your bear last year. It's kind of back in here, you know the area. Wet, muddy, everything. Mosquito heaven. So yeah, we're at another bait site here in our 51 unit. One thing here is another thing that caught my eye with this spot is we got a beaver pond. I don't know if you can really see it. It's just out there down the trail, kind of dead ends there. But yeah, I came in here last year, found a ton of signs, so I decided I was actually going to slap a bait in here. Sure enough, the next day it was fully cleaned up. Get some oil in the bucket here. Back in there. But yeah, I'm showing you lots of empty baits here, which is, you know, something that just happens a lot with us. We just go through a lot of bait, come up with these awesome bait spots, very active. But one thing we do here is, if you're lucky enough, yeah, that's another hit bait. If you're lucky enough, you actually have like dead logs or trees around here that you can cut these, instead of hauling them in with wheeler, which we've done a few other times. But it's nice when it's right there. It's so simple. You cut the logs, you pile them up on top of it. If you just leave the bait out in the open, you don't know if it's actually bear, wolves, coons, skunks, anything could be hitting it really. But you know, even setting cameras on helps a lot with that, judging size and knowing what's coming in. But again, there's another one of these, you know, dead trees. Throwing this Northwoods Bear Products Gold Rush on it, and you can see how they just tear that stuff apart. They absolutely love it. But yeah, like cut these logs. I like to cut them about, you know, 4 or 5 feet. I cut a couple short ones. That makes it so you got like a nice little spot down in there to put your bait. Don't always do that, but it's actually a really nice way to do it. You got a mix of stuff in there. Boy, these oak logs get heavy, especially the older you get, the worse it's gonna be. Again, we'll just cover logs. I don't do this every day. I just do it, you know, at least once or twice a week. Get too much grease in here, it just turns a lot of stuff soggy. You don't want that. Get it all over the ground. That way they walk through it, drag it through the woods, create scent trails. Other bears will find it too. A little bit of scent around here. We're good. Off to the next. I did pull a chip off one camera, moved it onto our second bait in here, so we'll see what kind of bear photos we have. Hopefully I got them on camera this time, because in our area 46 I pulled a camera, put on another bait, checked the chip, and there was no pictures on it, but the bait was cleaned up. Which I've noticed this to happen before. Sometimes it's just the chip's not storing the images. And usually it's, with that camera, it's a stealth camera. If I put a stealth card in it, it works perfect. If I throw another card in it, it doesn't always save them. So I don't know if any of you other guys have had that issue, but I've had that issue quite a bit. So, off to the next bait. Getting in here, we notice this one's been hit. Well guys, I'm at my last bait site of the day. Everything has been hit today. Luckily, it's going to dry up here the next few days. I'll help a lot. So, out of the 30 baits we got going, 27 of them are actually active already. And when I mean active, I'm talking like every day they've been hit, not just once every 3 days or anything like that. So, have to report that. That's really good news for us. And when I get home, I'll actually show you what we put in our bait. But this is kind of another situation I was talking about earlier this morning, is how these bears claw up these trees. You can see this is kind of old, a little bit newer. But yeah, this is how I actually found this site. Is I came in here about 6 years ago and noticed that there was a lot of this going on in the trees, and there was actually a nice bear trail coming right through the bait site. So threw down a bait, and sure enough, it was getting hit right away. We've shot multiple bear off this bait. You see, I've had some water issues with a lot of rain. That's the old bait hole. I actually had to move the bait over just a little bit and cleaning up everything, but this one's kind of been picky with licorice lately. So hopefully it just starts eating it. Alright, see you back at the camp. Hey, now that I'm back at camp here, we're going to run through a few things. I'm actually going to let the boss take over this. She's the brains of this operation. Yep.
Well, it's about time he got something right. I often joke around, do you want to talk to the man in charge or the woman that knows what's going on? Well, I'm Alice. I stay a little bit more behind the scenes, except this time of year, this is where I get to shine. I love bear hunting just as much as most. So to start things off on what we mix in, I want to display our Northwoods Bear products, what we love to use. This right here is a spray scent and can be available in the spray bottles, as well as we always get these half-gallon refills. We got the cherry burst here, which is something that you mix directly onto the bait. It has a 500 times sweeter than sugar. And last but not least, my favorite, the Northwoods Bear Products Gold Rush. This is super concentrated. You mix 2 ounces per 5 gallons of grease. Makes your bait smell like butterscotch candy. Can't beat it. So we start things off filling our buckets. So we have the licorice right here. A little bit of sweet, something to get them enticed, something to get them excited. But we lay heavy on what we got here. Now this is a trail mix. We get it from Wildwood Bear Baits. Go talk to Cordy and Jason down at Wildwood Bear Baits, located south of Brainerd. They have the best selection, the best prices, anything. You can't beat them. Premium quality. They mix all their own baits. You're not getting heavy fillers, things like that. You are getting what you pay for with this. So we'll put in 1 scoop of that. Whoa. Now that we got that, we also got some of the candy corn that we got from them. We'll put in a scoop of that and follow on down the line. This actually is something we mix up ourselves. What you see here, I got natural oats mixed with cracked kernel corn, and then we shake it up with molasses. So we mix that up ourselves, scoop of that. And that's something we, again, you know, now that we're entering in a year with a lot of natural food, we kind of lay off the sweets. But what would a bear bait be without some cookies? So we throw in another scoop of cookies. To finish things off, we got a couple extra candy sources, things like that over here. We have, gumdrops. I remember eating these as a kid, and we'll throw in just a little bit there to sweeten things up. Now you see what we mix with our baits. Get out there, start baiting, get yourself a bruin.